names are Francis Musoni Okiria. I work with Latex Airlines Uganda, an umbrella organization that brings over 50 organizations together. Let me take this time to thank the organizers of this, Somero Uganda, through your ED, and also different panelists who have been invited. The audience, my colleague whom they have given me to share this topic has really brought out key areas. And being a teacher, you know, always when you speak after a teacher, it's very hard for you to, to always come and try to convince the audience that you're also among those who have been delegated to share the topic. Anyway, he has hinted some of the key areas that I'd also prepared to discuss. But allow me just to, I'm very sorry to say I'm going to wrap up. He has given us a really very good biography and also a comprehensive information about the CSOs, because I see him quoting the years from 70s to now. Even before that, over 2 decades now, we have seen CSOs evolving to where they are today. I would like to go straight away to the role played by the CSOs in promoting education for sustainable development. I don't know the IT. My content is very short, as me, and I'm going to be brief. We can go to the next slide, the third one. Okay. Yes, as I said earlier, the first presenter really clarified who the CSOs are. So allow me just to go straight to the roles played by the CSOs. One of his highlights, he mentioned about advocacy. And in my same presentation, there is policy advocacy that the CSOs have played over the decades in their existence in this country. And in their advocacy, they are really looking forward, or they have looked forward to engage in dialogue for sustainable and friendly policies. You have realized that over time, the CSOs have fronted ideas to the main decision maker in the country, which is our government, in realizing that there are principles in the education sector that government needs to look at, which are designed in a way that our education allows everyone to participate. You remember UPE was the idea that was, and when that government collapsed, if I would use that word, the NRM government revived that policy whereby all primary school-going children have access free education. There is also USE, Uganda Secondary Education. Some of us at some time back, we were beneficiaries of that. Then of course also the policy of vocational training. This is the idea that have been fronted, as you well know, the young people who are here. Youth skilling. It's not only limited to the formal education, I mean to non-formal education, but also to the formal education. the ministry now is fronting a practical skilling design of teaching, even in universities and other tertiary institutions, in a way that the generation empowered is hands-on skills, so that when they are growing up, they have a skill that they can use to earn a living. And when you talk about earning a living, of course, now it brings the definition of sustainable development. Why do they need this skill? What are these skills for? And what are the implications of these skills in their life? So at the end of the day, you see that we're contributing to the broader SDG goals. And number one of that principle, the standard development goals that we have no poverty. That's number one. So which, if people are empowered with skills, then at the end of the day, we are contributing to that goal. But also we are looking at the aspect of environmental conservation. Usually when people are not skilled, they're idle. In my village, I see youth, when they're idle, they go and cut trees. So that's not sustainable at the end of the day. You are looking to social equity. Of course, you realize that if the social empowerment, we end up realizing the social equity among our societies. Then economic resilience, of course, that one relates to the skill zone that I've mentioned earlier. Practical life skills, of course, government has, even in our curriculum has been adjusted, and I know by next year, all institutions of learning will incorporate the skills on knowledge when they are impacting this knowledge to the learners. Then we go to community engagement and empowerment. Over time, the CSOs are involving communities in educational projects, stressing the significances of sustainable practices within the local context, such as urban farming. And a number of organizations out there are really trying to create an environment where at household level, people have a defined nature of living, where they have easy access to food, easy income acquisition. And of course, all these aspects have been designed by a number of CSOs who are all over across the country, trying to see that in every household, people have a sustainable living, sustainable lifestyle. And of course, at the end of the day, when that is defined, you realize that we attain the sustainable development goals and also contributing to Uganda National Development Plan. Then the CSOs are also raising public awareness. As you were here, Somero is one of the CSOs, and you have realized that the topics that are fronted for us to discuss in one way or the other, they are creating a very key awareness. And the entry point is education, and I've seen the word democracy. And of course, these are key areas that define sustainable development. When democracy is not defined, then of course, service providers in this country will have a very big question. Then if people are not empowered with education, then of course, the aspect of deforestation will take place. You have seen now climate change has become an issue that everyone is responsible for. And the implications of it affects everyone. Either you're a minister, either you're a president. Recently, when I was watching news, I saw a news reporter saying Banda Lake. I was wondering, what is Banda Lake? But later on, I realized there was a flooding around Banda. That's why the lake was defined and the name came from. So public awareness is one of the key areas that the CSO are playing. And of course, they are not limited in only one aspect. They are looking at environmental. As I've talked about, very many organizations are now fronting issues about environmental consciousness. where they're trying to empower communities about their key responsibilities in terms of protecting our environment. Of course, the social aspect, this is issues of how we relate in our community. Recently, I was in Karamoja, and one of the institutions that had gone to do a needs assessment, one of the priority areas they were looking at was the social engagement of these people. And Karamoja, the common aspect there is raiding and of course, mainly raiding of the cattle. Then economic aspects, of course, they are trying to empower communities about the economic empowerment in their household. And a number of projects are being designed through education. One of the institutions in Jinja, Kimanyangeo, is trying to create an environment where even at school, they see that institutions have an economic aspect, for example, beekeeping, farming, and of which through that process, the learners are also taken through that aspect whereby they gain skills on how to earn a living. The CS also are doing a key role in monitoring and accountability. They are the watchdogs for our country and also at the global context. And of course, they do check and balance to see that the education institutions are ensuring the alignment of their services they give with the SDGs. They're also scrutinizing the curriculum. And I've seen, as I mentioned earlier, they are now, I think by next year, we shall have a new curriculum by the Ministry of Education, where they're emphasizing the aspect of practical skills. Previously, we have been relying on the old traditional pedagogy of teaching, where I just come in front and teach and I go away. But now the government have aligned with the CSOs based on their research, collaborations, and of course the engagement to see that the nature of our education is not meeting the standards. We are just producing the theorists, if I may use that word. Dr. Muzinguzi will guide me there, where people just have the information in the brain, but it's not hands-on. Of course, at the end of the day, these are all contributing to our UNDP and also the SDG principles. They're also building capacity. CSOs are empowering educators to integrate sustainable development approaches into lessons through teacher capacity building trainings that have provided them with the tools and strategies. Of course, as I said, the curriculum has been changed, so our teachers have been empowered to see that when they are giving out knowledge to the young ones, they're also emphasizing the aspect of hands-on, the practical skills, in a way that when these learners are out of school, they're able to go and apply the skills. And of course, when these skills are applied, definitely we will have a responsible citizens who are economically sounded, because economy, money is a key factor of life. Without money, I keep telling students, if you don't have money, if you have closed the chapter of thinking on how to make money, of course, in a good way, then you rather ask God to let you leave the earth, because you'll be a burden. You're going to cut our trees. You are going to involve into bad acts, which are very harmful. And of course, sustainability, it's a very broad word that brings all these aspects of a community which is empowered in all aspects. There's also partnership and networking. Of course, a number of CSOs have partnered with different organizations in enhancing and also creating the effectiveness of the services that are rendering to the community. For example, they have collaborated with educational institutions and local communities to implement income generating projects. Of course, now you see government has a very big program, Youth Livelihood, and of which the CSOs are trying to, besides what government is doing, they are trying to see how best these small groups from different communities who are under the Youth Livelihood program, so that they have knowledge on how to utilize the money that have been given. And also, in their partnership, of course, there are very many policies that have been put in place by government, but of course, government is a bit stretched. They cannot fully take the full responsibility in seeing that they implement their programs. So in the education sector, you see Plan International, Enable. They have the skilling programs that are triggered in contributing to the National Development Plan. And of course, in that area, you realize that they create that partnership with government, but also other bodies that are designed in creating a sustainable society. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to give you a glimpse of what I talked, and community engagement and empowerment. Of course, we're looking at opinion leaders, schools, and collaborations with different sectors. We talked about capacity building, which includes trainings at all levels, raising public awareness, of course, media platforms, conferences, workshops, and of course, I'm glad here we are with a very good conference that is empowering all the players today. Then the partnership and networking. Of course, partnership including research. CSOs also play that role in seeing that they go and give the decision makers evidence-based results or information about the policies in place. Then monitoring and accountability. And of course, we have policy advocacy that is guided also by research, consultations, and collaborations. Thank you so much for listening, and I wish you the best for the next discussions.